we've heard some excellent discussion about how this information and our ability to visualize and analyze is reaching the level of acute pain slowly. When Dan mentioned this topic, I realized I had to educate myself a little bit about big data, and the TED Talks have some excellent productions. This one is by a computer scientist who tracked his kids since the first day they came home from the hospital. And this is a segment where they looked at the information as it came out of the television, out of Obama's lips into television sets, into tweets.
This piece of content, President Obama's State of the Union address from just a few weeks ago, and look at what we find in the same data set at the same scale, the engagement properties of this piece of content are truly remarkable. A nation exploding in conversation in real time in response to what's on the broadcast. And of course, through all of these lines are flowing unstructured language. We can X-ray and get a real-time pulse of a nation, real-time sense of the social reactions and the different circuits in the social graph being activated by content. So, to summarize, the idea is this: as our world becomes increasingly instrumented, and we have the capabilities to collect and connect the dots between what people are saying and the context they're saying it in, what's emerging is an ability to see new social structures and dynamics that have previously not been seen. It's like building a microscope or a telescope and revealing new structures about our own behavior around communication. And I think the implications here are profound, whether it's for science, for commerce, for government, but perhaps most of all, for us as individuals.
And it concluded with actually watching his son take his first steps, his son realizing that, whoa, I just did this, and saying, whoa, and his father saying the same.
I want to leave you with one last memorable moment from our family. This is the first time our son took more than 2 steps at once, captured on film. And I really want you to focus on something as I take you through. It's a cluttered environment, it's natural life. My mother's in the kitchen cooking, and of all places in the hallway, I realize he's about to do it, about to take more than 2 steps. And so you hear me encouraging him, realizing what's happening, and then the magic happens. Listen very carefully. About 3 steps in, he realizes something magic is happening. And the most amazing feedback loop of all kicks in, and he takes a breath in, and he whispers, wow. And instinctively, I echo back the same. And so let's fly back in time to that memorable moment.
Hey, come here. Can you do it? Oh boy, can you do it? Now he's walking.
I would like to mention that there are some tools available to people who are not mathematicians, don't require much training. The Google search engine, for example, if one searches for Dr. Carr, you'll find quite a few results. And then if you go into the part of Google that's called Google Books, where they've scanned millions and millions of texts, they have an n-gram viewer which allows you to put a number of words together and see how they appear in these books over time. So, Daniel Carr and Acute Pain. Well, actually, I didn't run that one, but I did want to make the point that there are a lot of books out there, including this one. And this is what happened when I put in chronic pain on the top, acute pain, persistent pain, and preventable pain over the period from '68 to 2008. it sort of gives you a sense of what might possibly be what the world is reading about these subjects. But I thought, let me just try something else that might actually suggest that there's something to this. And I put in Argentina, EU, and USA. And EU is the red graph that crosses the blue graph in the 1990s. I guess I could also point out that there's a big jump in the, or a slight jump in the acute pain in the 1990s. The first speaker is a computer scientist who has been incredibly dedicated to bringing technical aspects of this area of mathematics into the study of pain and its outcomes. We're not going to be talking about an article for which it's excellent reading, it's good form, but rather this other now worldwide project. He was intimately involved. You can see in the that when somebody has to log in to get their password as their institution joins, they have to contact him personally. And with this huge group of users, he's also the IT guy who you're supposed to call if you have a question. And his email's right in there. I think today, though, he'll probably be more likely to be talking about some of the information we can get out and how we might do that. Professor Mackey is, actually I've been listening to him talking and I've been reading his stuff for a very long time. It is so wonderful to be here with him. Very recently, he's had a major role in our country, evaluating and moving forward the practice of pain medicine. He's also available in big data. I was surprised when I searched Wikipedia, there he was. It says that he's a professor of anesthesiology, that he is president of the American Academy of Pain Medicine, and also that in addition to being a physician, he's also an electrical engineer. And so I thought I would run the same sort of search on Dr. Mackey, and there are quite a few results that come up with in a Google search. However, I think that still he has to do something because it's not showing up in that n-gram viewer. Down there at the bottom it says no valid n-grams. Wow. And our final speaker, Deb Gordon, who is currently continues to practice as a pain medicine nurse at UW in Seattle, United States, has had a long and very distinguished career. I was very interested shortly after the turn of the century in the work of the Joint Commission in trying to bring standards for evaluation of pain to the United States. And Deb Gordon was very instrumental in helping to do some of that work. Dr. Carr asked earlier a question that I've asked myself of the first speaker, or one of the early speakers. Why can't we just make it so that at whatever the pharmacokinetic / dynamically appropriate time interval is after the dose, we can't get an evaluation of the effectiveness of that particular individual pain med? And in this fishbone diagram, she indicates all of the various barriers to doing exactly that. This was the article that that was part of. I think she is involved in many areas of pain medicine. Here's she participated in this core competencies for pain management, and today I think we're going to hear her talk more overall about quality. And at the end of the 3 talks, perhaps you'd be able to make an assessment. It says your recent Amazon purchases, tweet score, and location history makes you 23%. Welcome here. You'll be able to figure out if this is something that makes sense or not. Thank you. And so we start. Marcus.